Saint Maud is today's review. This is a film written and directed by Rose Glass, her debut film. It's a movie that came out, I think just before the whole pandemic and all the craziness. Something that was definitely on my radar that I had heard great things about. Lots of positive reviews, even some awards attention. I'm pretty sure Rose Glass was nominated for a BAFTA for best debut British film. So definitely something that sparks your interest a little bit. Like you don't always see horror getting this kind of acclaim, so you would imagine this must be one of those elevated horrors that they talk about. I definitely wanted to check it out. Eventually, it did in fact make its way to Netflix, at least here in Canada. So it's on Netflix right now. I would say it's worth a watch. Though maybe it didn't quite blow me away, but still good. I mean, it is one of those kinds of movies where it definitely attempts to touch certain nerves other than just the cheap thrills of a horror movie and the ghastly, shocking stuff. Though it does have that, but it tries to go a little bit deeper, and I think it does. I think it achieves what it sets out to do. You also kind of think, is our main character Maud, played by Morfydd Clark, is she just completely insane, demented, or are there other worldly things going on? Essentially, the plot that we have here, we do have the Maud character. That's kind of this shady past that we pick up on a little bit at a time throughout the movie. We kind of sense that there was some traumatic event in her past that kind of shaped her into what she currently is. She's a care worker, a hospice worker for a retired dancer named Amanda, played by Jennifer Eel, who's pretty much approaching her final days, I guess. And what we learn about her life is that she lived this kind of extravagant life, and always trying different things, and very sexually liberal and all of that. But Maud, in being such a devoutly devoted follower of God, whatever her particular specific branch of religion is, they go into that a little bit. She kind of sees her as this sinner, and possibly more. Possibly there is something taking a hold of her that has caused her life of sin, what have you. And she kind of does take it upon herself to save Amanda's soul, whether Amanda wants her to do that or not, right? So that's kind of what we're working with, and we're working with this kind of obsession that slowly develops throughout the movie. So it is this kind of unnerving thing where this character who is such this religious zealot, if you want to call it that, trying to force their own beliefs about their soul and how it can be salvaged before going into the next world or whatever. All that. And you can kind of look at the movie like, well, is this Maud character, is she simply just way too over the top devoted? Is she in fact insane, seeing these visions, having these experiences of her own, and kind of going deep within this wormhole of the bizarre and the shocking and things like that? Or is it is it just simply something is kind of otherworldly going on here? So you kind of think between those two things, and really, like, I don't know. It's an interesting thing because it's not in the same vein as, say, something like, say, The Babadook, where we have the main characters under a tremendous amount of stress and pressure and all that. You just kind of think, oh, all these visions and all this, hysteria is affecting her mind, and we know that it's not quite real. We know that. Though, it does result in something that is supernatural, that she does confront, but we can kind of interpret it in, a very earthly way. Here, I think kind of whatever your outlook is, you're right. So, I mean, I would personally, I don't know if it goes into spoilers here, but I would personally think that the MAUD character is just deeply troubled. Has all this from her past that's affected her, that's kind of molded her outlook to be this way, and I feel that the ending kind of confirms that. But then someone else could watch the ending and reach a completely different conclusion. So that's very interesting to me. And, you do kind of see the deeper elements that Rose Glass's screenplay is kind of delving into about fundamental religious beliefs and about forcing religion onto others. And, I would imagine that Glass does not have a very positive outlook on religion. That does see it as possibly a harmful thing, especially when you get into other certain aspects where it is this obsession, it is this kind of repressed homosexuality thing between Maud and Amanda, where you think Maud probably is, like a lesbian, or at least bisexual, bicurious, whatever, but she's just so, stringently avoiding that and repressing that and doing whatever she can in her own life to just kind of block that away, even if it is a sin in whatever interpretation she has of what a sin is. So that's very interesting, I think. And yeah, I do think religion can be a nice thing in certain ways for certain people, but it is a harmful thing. And I think that's something that the movie explores a little bit in its own way, in a way that is definitely bleak, is definitely a little more pessimistic on the side of religion, and the I guess ironic evil that it inspires in others. So it definitely goes for these kinds of themes. Definitely hits them pretty well. I thought it did a pretty good job. It's a movie that gets you thinking, and it's a movie that gets you engaged. And all that aside, there is, all else considered, there's just kind of the shocking stuff, the horror movie stuff that you can't really say this is a drama. Yes, this is definitely a horror movie that has its shocks, that has its gruesome scenes, that has the aspects to it where you kind of could interpret it. Well, maybe there is something evil going on here. Maybe there is an evil demon taking over Amanda, and it's Maud's duty to vanquish it or something like that. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. In some parts of the movie, it did kind of make me laugh a little bit, but maybe it's kind of like a nervous laughter, or maybe there was kind of an intention to make it just this darker, comedic, bleak take where you almost have no choice but to nervously chuckle a little bit. So that's good. Definitely an effective movie, and it's unlike some other horror movies. Yeah, it's going to give you a different experience. Different people are going to have different reactions to it, different interpretations of it, and hey, that's art. You don't always see that with horror movies, so at least it tries. I wouldn't say this is the greatest horror movie of the last few years, which some people kind of have been saying, and I can kind of understand why different people would praise it differently, but absolutely worth checking out. And it has a shocking, so it has the great performances. Morford Clark, she's great playing Maud, very convicted, very convincing in the role, and Jennifer Eel kind of combating her kind of every step of the way. There's a great chemistry between these actors and these characters that make it all the more engaging as we kind of go deeper and deeper into Maud's madness, or perhaps the madness of good and evil within this world, always at odds. So it's an interesting thing. So definitely recommend it. I mean, if you haven't seen it. Again, it's on Netflix in Canada, so maybe in your neck of the woods it's in Canada. It's on Netflix as well. All else failing, you can try a VPN. NordVPN, proudly sponsoring this video. Just kidding. So yeah, check it out, St. Maud. That's my review. Thank you very much for watching. We're doing 31 Days of Horror here on the channel. Horror movie reviews all throughout October. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Be sure to stay tuned for more. And until next time, I'll see you later, and stay scared.